Happy New Year. It's 2022. Let us anchor together before we dive into some inspiration. So wherever you're sitting, get comfortable. Put your left hand on your heart and your right hand on your belly. This is our anchor body. Brings us to the moment. And when we breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth like a circle. So breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. On this last one, let's breathe in grace. And let's breathe out gratitude for being here together. Hello. Thank you for being magnificent Patreon member. I found this on Facebook, actually, and I just love it. I don't know who Neil Gaiman is, Gaiman, but it says, "May your coming year be filled with magic and dreams and good madness. I hope you read some fine books and kiss someone who thinks you're wonderful. And don't forget to make art. Write or draw or build or sing or live as only you can. And I hope somewhere in the next year you surprise yourself." So I do hope you surprise yourself. As a friend of mine said to me in her New Year message to me, she goes, "Delightful surprises." And she said, "Have a bright, shiny new year because I say so." So let's say so to the universe what we want to declare for 2022. We have to bear witness to what we've experienced in the last 2 years in this pandemic. And regardless of a pandemic, life offers us challenges all the time. You know, Buddhism says it, there's suffering. Yeah, there is suffering. And there's a way to be present to the suffering. And there's a way to allow the suffering to flow. But I also firmly believe in believing in the magic of life and the mystical nature of life. And mystical is something you experience. It's that connection with that divine reality, that infinite source, that it can be just a connection like I had the other day with that coyote outside the creek area. And it was visceral, palpable. I could feel the energy of the spirit animal. And mystical can be just standing there with someone you love. You know, listening to the ocean waves or being enveloped in that orange sherbet sky in the morning or the evening. Mystical is the sound of a baby when they're sleeping and they have like this little hum. Mystical can be that moment of death, being there for someone at that moment and knowing that the veil is so thin and that the soul is infinite. So mysticism for me is just that oneness with life. Just knowing that it is all the divine, the everyday sacred as I call it, and allowing yourself to pause for those moments, to not be caught up in the to-do list, to-be list, my goals for 2022, but to be present to the everyday sacred, to the mystical of life, and notice how it makes you feel. Magic is something we create. And I like the word magic. Oh, what did I say the other day? It was really good. The magnificent. Oh, I have to find where I wrote that. Darn. Okay, it'll come to me in a minute. But magic is us making manifest our reality by co-creative use of the law, but that's not what I wrote. It was something really sweet. But I want to read this for you, even though I don't usually read much on these, but this was really good. Sadhvi Bhagawati Saraswati, and I cannot pronounce the name of the ashram she's in India, but I actually met her and her guru at the Parliament of the World's Religions. I had no idea who they were, but she is phenomenal. She is an American Californian who went to India with her boyfriend and literally had this mystical experience at the Mother Ganga, the river, and left her PhD program and has dedicated her life to her spirituality, to serving others, and then being a teacher. Not that I'm saying that's for us in 2022, but I'm just saying that when you align in that highest vision for your life, things just come together. And sometimes we just have no idea what it is, or a little bit of resistance and doubt, which I think is good. You want to question it, and yet at the same time, when you're in alignment, you're in the flow like the river. But she says, when we pray, both our inner and our outer circumstances change. This is not because somehow a magic wand has come and changed our outer circumstances, but because through true prayer, deep prayer, our connection to God is strengthened. And through our connection with God, our own mind has changed. Then since our mind has changed, our experience and therefore our reality has changed. We are creating our realities. When you have a situation that you want to be different, the answer is neither just to accept it, nor is the answer to pray to God to change the external situation. The answer is to pray to God, so we would say align in consciousness, for such a depth of connection, of awareness, for such a depth and truth of experience of who we are, that our vision changes. Thus, as our vision changes, so our mind changes. And as our minds change, so do our circumstances. So what we know through the movement of New Thought is that everything is the divine reality. So it's a shift in consciousness. Prayer is not beseeching to anything outside of us. It's that shift in consciousness. It's aligning and then literally feeling into the very thing we're seeking to demonstrate. And then our perception shifts. And then we draw into our life that which we're seeking to experience. We allow that which is seeking to express. We become the very thing that we dream about just by the choices and the steps that we take. So I use the word magic, and I'll find out what it is, because it was about manifesting the allness of God in creativity and consciousness, something like that. So the invitation with magic is not about woo-hoo, even though they do use the word abracadabra as, and so it is. And so make it playful. That's the thing with magic. It's playful. That's why I like that word. Make your prayers playful, prayerful. And yes, there are challenging situations that we're going deep, and it calls deep unto deep. But when we're demonstrating just in our lives, remember that you are that space and that place from which the thing that we call God, very succinct word for the infinite presence, is revealing itself as you. You're the place where God manifests as your life, by whatever name that you're given. And the freedom to choose, to manifest the joy, that deep expression of joy that then is happiness, the internal and the external begins to dance together. And that's when the magic happens, when you begin to align. I was noticing my thoughts, I was spiraling down in disappointment and grief of, love, loss. Don't want to tell a story. And yet I found my energy just lowering. And yet in that moment, I was simply driving. So I was in the past. If you're standing on a bridge, it's the water that's flowing. You're already looking at the past. You want to turn. Frank Ostrowski, can always mispronounce his name and apologize. He did this thing with Brother David Steiner Rast, and Rast would have him look at the water coming down. He goes, that water that is flowing towards us, the upflow, that's our future, and then it's going, and we're leading it out. So the past of the past, and we hold in this moment just this holy sacred now, because there actually isn't a future, there's just now. We try to imagine something into being, and that's the magical part. Now, a lot that I've done in the last 10 years, I never even imagined. But I am stepping into things that I've always sought to experience and express: writing and photography, more speaking, getting a book published. I'm just knowing an alignment. So for you, where are you calling forth magic? The manifestation of the allness of God in, through, and as a co-creative process of your consciousness. What are you seeking to express in your life in 2022? What are you calling forth, whether it's support or love or joy or clarity or, playfulness? What is it that is seeking to express this year? Go watch the video on the word for the year, and that just becomes like your touchstone of truth. That's the one thing that you always want to make sure that you're in alignment with. My word's wealthy. I was sick for 10 years. And then I could only work part-time 5. And then I worked for a nonprofit for 10. I've been working for nonprofit. So financially, I'm not quite there. But that's not just the wealth that I'm talking about. I'm affirming the flow of abundance. I'm knowing God is my source. But the wealth of opportunities that I'm afforded is when I'm aligning it. Also, it can come in the form of money. I am more than happy to receive that. But the wealth of health, the wealth of love, the wealth of joy, the wealth of magic, the wealth of mystical moments, the wealth of art expressed, the wealth of connection. And so wealth for me is that understanding of the wholeness that is God in its abundant nature that's being expressed and experienced in the moment. And yes, that retirement's available. That was pretty good how the light just kind of dropped right there. Very dramatic. Anyhow, so magic, mysticism, mystical and magic. So I'm going to look for some different practices, not just the basics, but I do need to bring some basics in here that we can practice together to inspire ourselves. I would say the number one practice I would invite you in November. Did I just really say November? Wow, where did that come from? We're not there yet. It's January 2022, not November 2022. Make a note. Something's good is coming in November. Really good. I lost track of what I was saying. Magic, mysticism, moment. Oh, it'll come back to me because I'm just downloading from my heart. So I'm going to bring some practices here, though. The basics of visioning, affirmations, meditation for people who don't have that experience, because I do plan on building this. And for you who are already here, I thank you, and let me know what is that you need. I'll just, bring in some stuff that just deepens us a little. So here is your practice. And I'll have a video out in about a week or two where I'm going to invite you just with your eyes that can see and ears that can hear and feeling with your body to go out in nature. Allow nature to be your elixir. Well, Veronica, it's January, that even in Texas, the trees are naked and we did have some cold, and in other places it's snow and it's gray and it's dark. And that's the best time to really see the workings of nature. That which seems like asleep or even dead is just lying fallow, as my one teacher said. That literally there's this intelligence that is just operating within it and will reveal the new leaves in the spring. Underneath the dirt, all the systems that are working together. In the sky, the movement of the clouds and even the birds that come in during their migrations, or whether, like we have the pelicans that come from Michigan down, which I'm sure they regretted the last 3 days because it was really cold. But just notice nature. Let that be your meditation, to visually be present to the mysticism of the divine by seeing the miracle of life. I have these one-on-one encounters with the blue heron, with egrets, with hawks, even with the bald eagle, even though I'm so far away from them. But if you looked at the video, because it's only on Patreon, of the two eagles, Nick and Nora, in their nest, it was just me. And even though I was using my zoom lens, I still felt electrified. That's the mystical. When you experience the divine in the sacredness of the moment. And then whatever you're seeking to experience and express in your life, then yes, write the list of the things. So instead of saying I want to lose weight, it's like I affirm health and wholeness. The vitality and strength of God is mine in every moment. My body temple is shaped perfectly and sculpted in a way where I fit into my pants. And then you can decide what size you want, all right? But health, wholeness, abundance, power, peace, harmony, all that you seek and desire is yours. So your spiritual practice, if you choose this month, is to walk in nature and to see with wonder and to experience the divine by dropping thoughts and just being present. Notice how it feels. Notice how it feels. And then the magic part is do set your intentions for the year. In whatever way, something every month, just go into prayer, go into visioning, see what word pops up for the year, but even what manifests month to month, and just hold that in a space of expansiveness and allow yourself to experience magic. That wow. So I love you. I thank you for being here. We're going to do some Koshi chimes. Know that I'm always here for you. So the mystical and the magical, the inner and outer expressing, the demonstration by we shift our thoughts, shift our mind, the vision shifts, the reality shifts just by the very nature of life. And to see with eyes that see wonder and beauty, even with all that's happening in the world, and to bring your light into the world. So I'm just going to pick one chime that's right here. This one's Earth. Little green dot there. And take a breath. And just allow yourself to inhale this beautiful moment together. I love you. Happy New Year. Go get your affirmations. They're there waiting for you.